Good morning, welcome to CATEX TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. Today is Thursday, December 12th, 2013. The Asiana air crash initial report is in from the National Transportation Safety Board. You'll recall that the 777 crash landed at San Francisco International Airport last summer. 3 fatalities were recorded. Apparently what happened is the pilot who was at the controls worried privately before takeoff that he would be unable to handle the Boeing 777 because runway construction at San Francisco meant that he had to land without any help from a guidance system. He had to make a visual approach. And neither the trainee nor an instructor pilot in the cockpit said anything when the first officer raised concerns 4 separate times about the plane's rapid descent. The pilot said that he had been concerned he might, quote, fail his flight and would be embarrassed. Although he was an experienced captain, he was only a trainee on the 777 with only 45 hours in the cockpit, and he had not landed at San Francisco's notoriously tricky airport in any aircraft since 2004. Very, very confusing set of situations here. He didn't speak up because others had been safely landing at San Francisco under the same conditions all that day. As a result, he told investigators he could not say he couldn't do the visual approach. Another Asiana pilot who had recently flown with this gentleman told investigators he was not sure if the trainee was making normal progress and that he was not well organized or prepared. Obviously, this is giving a tremendous amount of fuel for lawsuits. In another development, one of the 3 fatalities was a teenage girl from China who survived the crash but became covered in firefighting foam and got hit by a fire truck while she was on the runway. Documents released yesterday revealed that in fact she was struck twice, about 11 minutes separately. She was hit once, fell into the foam. It's not known whether she died from the first collision or the second collision, which went over her when she was submerged in the foam. What a situation. Standard & Poor's has become the latest now to pile on for QBE. They've cut their outlook to negative due to concerns that the big Australian insurer might be forced to absorb further write-downs coming from its troubled American unit. 5 years ago, just about now, the Bernard Madoff Ponzi scheme was becoming made known, and JP Morgan Chase is about to agree to a $2 billion settlement with American prosecutors for allegedly turning a blind eye to Madoff's scheme. Some of that money would be used to compensate victims of Madoff's long-running $20 billion scam. Florida homeowners continue to struggle with sky-high property insurance premiums, despite the fact that there haven't been any major hurricanes recently. This is shaping up to be a pretty profitable year for Florida's property insurance industry. The 10 largest Florida-based property insurers have collected about $283 million in net underwriting profit through the first 3 quarters of this year. Despite this, or perhaps because of this, homeowners are clamoring for rate reductions. They've only received about 9 so far. Meanwhile, people in the industry are saying, wait a minute, we need to buy even more reinsurance. We can't necessarily begin to disgorge profits yet just because there have been an absence of hurricanes for the previous several years. We do lie in one of the most targeted areas for major windstorms in the world. This is a situation that is going to continue to unfold. Meanwhile, regulators in Europe are saying that they need to better supervise the insurance-linked securities market. They need to make sure that investors have sufficient expertise to analyze insurance risks. EIOPA, which is the European Insurance and Pensions Authority, said that they're concerned that some inflows of new capital from fixed income investors like pension funds don't necessarily have the modeling capabilities and experience to fully examine underlying risks and a knowledge of the complexity of the insurance market. Without adequate supervision, such developments could cause systemic risk. No kidding. Meanwhile, 90 new insurers have been registered in Bermuda this year so far. Just about all of them are, in fact, insurance-linked securities companies. And statistics are indicating now that the $30 trillion pension industry is beginning to move into the insurance and reinsurance market in a rather substantial way. Leadenhall Capital Partners in London, one of the big ILS companies, have seen their assets double from $800 million to $1.6 billion this year, with more than 90% coming from pension funds. Nephila Capital, the biggest manager of insurance-linked securities, has seen their assets under management triple in the past 5 years to up about $9 billion. That money is largely coming from pension funds. Protesters in Thailand say that they've managed to cut off the electricity to Prime Minister Yingluck Sinatra's office. This is in the official government compound this morning, and they demand that police abandon the premises. Protesters are seeking to replace Ms. Sinatra before a February 2nd election. They threaten to force their way into her office if the police don't leave. Police have not withdrawn, but they're not doing anything. They're simply watching. Protests in Thailand are always very interesting. Meanwhile, in Wisconsin, the number of Wisconsin workers who died on the job last year increased by 28%. It's not that Wisconsin became inherently more dangerous. It was due to an increase in workplace shootings. 114 fatal work injuries occurred in 2012, 25 more than in 2011. 16 people were shot and killed by others while at work, compared to 2 in 2011. 5 others shot and killed themselves. The report doesn't identify those killed at work, but several shootings have been widely reported. There was one in August of 2012 at the Sikh Temple of Wisconsin that left 4 people dead, and a October 2012 shooting that left 3 workers dead at a salon in Brookfield, Wisconsin. That's the news for today. If we have any breaking news, we'll come back and tell you. It's possible there are some rumors that the new Lloyd's CEO will be announced today. We'll be watching that, and if that's the case, we'll probably come back and tell you. We'll see you tomorrow.